I felt lost, my mind trapped in a haze, a fog. I couldn't remember things that I should have easily remembered, and I stumbled over my words that I'd said 1,000 times. I didn't know what was happening to me. At the start of my senior year, my normal day went something like this: swim practice before school, grab a quick breakfast back at home, then go to school, to marching band practice after school, home to finish up all my homework, and then to bed. But the one thing that kept getting worse was that by the end of the day, I was absolutely exhausted. In the fall, I got mononucleosis, or mono for short, and felt really tired all the time. The thing is, after I recovered from mono, the tiredness didn't go away. I stayed tired even after swim season ended and the marching band moved indoors. I started to feel dizzy a bunch, but dismissed it as I was standing up too fast. That was until I stood up at the end of class. The color of the room turned really intense. I felt foggy, and then I passed out. My mom noticed early that I just wasn't myself, that this was all more than just feeling tired and a dizzy spell. So she took me to the doctor. The doctor said my blood pressure was really low and told me to drink lots of fluids and eat extra salt. Then he sent me on home. But soon enough, I passed out again at school. So I went to several other children's doctors, neurologists, and cardiologists. They all gave me some nutrition tips or said I should change my habits a bit. But none of them figured out what was really going on. I kept feeling dizzy. I almost passed out a few more times, and I just felt tired all the time. I was really starting to lose hope. We finally saw an adult cardiologist in December who diagnosed me by doing an EKG while I was resting, another one while I was standing, and then did it again after I had been standing for 10 minutes. The tests proved that my heart rate went up significantly when I stood, but since my blood pressure had no change, there was a less likely chance I would pass out. After all the tests, the doctor finally diagnosed me with POTS, Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia syndrome. When the doctor diagnosed me, she looked pretty grim. In some people, POTS can be very mild, but my symptoms were among the worst. She explained it all to me. How when you stand, gravity pulls a lot of blood to your feet. So your veins and arteries contract and your heart beats more to circulate blood to your brain. POTS disrupts this, and so I wasn't getting enough blood to my brain. That's why I was feeling dizzy and why I was passing out. The lack of blood to my brain was also making me feel so mentally foggy. She said POTS would last the rest of my life. She said it all in clear medical terms, but all I heard was, "The world as you know it is gone." After my diagnosis, the depression came on pretty quick. Whenever I went to school, I felt lost in a haze, a fog. I couldn't remember things that I should have easily remembered. I stumbled over words that I'd said 1,000 times, and I just couldn't concentrate. So I stopped going to school. I had to keep up with the schoolwork as best I could, so I met a tutor at the local library a few days a week. He helped me learn the lessons I was missing, explained new concepts, and let me learn at my own pace, so I didn't feel like the idiot in class when my brain went all foggy. My girlfriend Briar stopped by a lot after school to check in and help with homework and lessons, and just to hang out and keep me company, and even keep me updated on some of the school gossip. But most of the day, I was alone. I binge-watched Netflix and texted with my friends, but that was about it. If I went outside, my body temperature would be thrown off and my heart rate would shoot up. If I did too much activity, I would feel dizzy and sometimes collapse. Trying to use my brain while I was in a fog was impossible. Each day seemed the same, and any chance of a real future seemed further and further away. When you get the flu or a common cold, of course, it's no fun. But you know that you just need to take some medicine, suffer through the sickness for a few days, and then you'll be better. But with POTS, there wasn't any end in sight. I was just in pain 24/7. Plain and simple. I met with more doctors and found a POTS specialist who gave me some steroids and medications, some to help with my blood pressure and others to give my nervous system a boost. Of course, I kept drinking lots of Gatorade and ate foods with salt, which helped to keep my blood pressure up. But even with all that, my fatigue got worse, and whenever I stood up, I saw intense colors in my eyes and I felt dizzy. My throat was red and swollen, and I had bad headaches. I even had to use crutches to walk. Then, things got worse. In the spring, I caught the flu. Every time I get a virus, it's 10 times worse with POTS. And even though I was taking the medications and doing all the right things, it didn't help as much as I would have liked. The regular flu is bad enough, but the POTS symptoms, bad as they were on their own, made the flu itself even worse. It was bad. It felt like I was actually dying. Since my heart beats extra fast when I have a fever, my resting heart rate was 100 beats per minute. I was stuck at home and stuck in bed, alone, feeling horrible for a long time. But eventually, the flu subsided. My POTS specialist assured me that even though POTS is a lifelong disease, I didn't have to suffer for the rest of my life. There's no specific cure for POTS, so we tried lots of different things. Now I wear compression socks and use platform forearm crutches. I also take whatever little extra precautions I can to avoid any common sicknesses. Not only do I want to avoid the flu again, the specialist also said catching mono could have triggered the onset of POTS. With the flu gone, I shifted my focus to my graduation. By this time, I had pretty much missed all of my senior year. But I talked to my school counselors and they helped me set up an academic plan to earn all the school credits I needed to graduate. They sent me home with the books and materials too. They were a huge help. With my tutor teaching me and my girlfriend helping me with work too, I finished all the assignments and earned the credit I needed. Finally, I finished high school. It certainly wasn't easy, but with my parents, my awesome girlfriend Briar, my school, and my doctors, I walked across the stage on my crutches, took my diploma, and turned my tassel. I graduated. Now I'm in physical therapy, and I'm going to college to study art. I'm even learning how to drive and trying to make up for all those missed high school experiences. The Disney trip, prom, and the senior outing. There are good weeks and bad weeks. It's not a constant. Some days I don't need my crutches and some days I do. I have friends I see every week, and I run an art commission from home. I struggled to learn to live with POTS, and it's still really upsetting some days. But honestly, everything's okay, and I'm living a happy life.